Thank you so much. Looking forward to jump into this one, Dan. Optic Gaming, like I said, it didn't go to plan last night. Again, this morning, didn't wake up and get any better, so they have a lot of work to do.
It did not get any better, sadly. They were able to take one game at least, and, you know, it was close. I was thinking against Nemesis, maybe we're going to see that reverse sweep from Optic Gaming, but actually, a rare thing that happens from European sides, there was a bit of ice. Sometimes it just goes complete opposite way in these tournaments. But alas, less about Nemesis, more about Optic Gaming. Can they solidify themselves going 2-1 in this pool by taking down SWAT Latam? If you have been watching some of the stream, you may have been watching SWAT Latam going against the likes of Nemesis. They were taken down. They also lost to Gen G as well. So Optic, heavy favorites coming into this, and also looking at this series layout, Shurs, that is the perfect series layout for an Optic Gaming side. They are typically not that great at the newer maps and modes, but these are some of the old heavy hitters. Let's set the table though. Let's say SWAT Latam can pull off the win. We get a three-way tie. What does that mean for them? Can they still progress here? It means a lot of math being done in the back. It means that I'm going cross-eyed, as are you. I think that SWAT Latam just have to play what's in front of them. If they 3-0 Optic Gaming, they give themselves a chance to progress, and then you just let the math do the rest of it. You've got to take on what is in front of you, and that will be the Green Wall, who are going to have a point to prove here after a disappointing performance so far against Nemesis. It's time to tie a little bow on Pool B. It shields up, it's weapons hot. We're on board with Formal, and he's already driving forward towards the tower. It could be the perfect series for Optic Gaming just to get back on the saddle as well. They're going to be so disappointed with how they were against Nemesis, but if they can have a solid game here, go into championship bracket with a little bit of confidence, then you never really know where Optic will end up at the end of this tournament. And that's the thing, you talk about jeopardy, what does it mean to lose to Nemesis? Of course, their seed is thrown up in the air, but if they match against Rebellion, they would have had to play Rebellion eventually anyway, so there's not that much harm, not that much foul. I think everyone else in the tournament will be a little bit more annoyed, to be honest, because it's going to be the bracket in the elimination side. It's going to be very messed up by all these seed changes. You can have an Optic Gaming, maybe, or a Shopify, maybe, dropping down to that elimination bracket and having to face a team for, like, what, top 12, which is going to be ridiculous. But we'll get there when it arrives. For now, though, it's been SWAT Latam in the early stages. A and C in control and taking B now, and Optic a little bit of a slow start. You speak about Optic falling off the horse. Perhaps this is the perfect series to get back on it. But at the moment, it's SWAT Latam in the ascendance, 43 points in climbing. Renegade down to no shields. He pushes forward. Teammates not really there. Formal gets tagged to the body over towards the pillars. Continues to jiggle peek. Lqgend picked up a double kill elsewhere. That should make this a difficult hold for Strikeyy. As try as he might, he is going to fall. 3 members of Latam do hit the deck. And there are some familiar names on the SWAT Latam roster that you may have seen throughout the history of HCS. I mean, Noble and Pelu, 2 of the big heavy hitters from the region, but Rorzch and Strikeyy have apparently been the 2 that have really been stepping up to the plate so far in the open bracket, and one of the main reasons why they find themselves here in pool play. The incredible thing, I want to give a shout out to the people in pool play. There was only 1 North American team who actually qualified through it. We had 2 Latam representatives, and of course, we also have 1 from the A and Z with Mind Freak, so congratulations to all of them for making it to this point, but all of them will have ambitions and of pushing even further. Yeah, and it's always tough because the pool play game is going to be a far different experience, but SWAT Latam, they've had 2 games to warm up, essentially now. They've been able to take down 2 other squads, and now they have to do arguably an even more difficult task, go against the Green Wall on the main stage. At least they're getting back into it now, though, are Optic. 26 points on the board, and they are starting to pick up a few kills here or there. Drawing back into it. Strikeyy's going to have to try and clear out. Bound over towards the tower. He has no idea he's there, and an elbow to the spine's good enough for the kill. Camouflage has popped up. Strikey's got eyes on it as well. Formal's going to be there. Lqgend picked up another double kill, though. Formal will get away with the camouflage. Down to no shields, but nobody on the side of SWAT Latam there to put him in the grave. He can now push forward towards sandbags. This is good for Optic Gaming. A and B in control, and now it's SWAT Latam to have to fight for the back foot. I think Optic just don't need to overthink this. I think if they just play the game and start to focus on actually just their fragging power, they should be able to overpower this SWAT Latam roster. But if you start to overthink things and try and work out, you know, why are SWAT Latam doing this? This is a little bit different to what we've done against other teams in scrims. That's when it gets a little bit more difficult. Just focus on your raw skill. Go back to the basics a little bit here for the Green Wall. Renegade with snipe. Looking towards big door. Nobody there. Back towards tower. Always a great place to hold. A foundation for your team. The anchor point. They now take the lead.
B and C in full control. We have to see what SWAT Latam can do. Can they break this setup? 2 down, Formal inbound, an opening, but 4 go down for Latam as quick as you like. And Renegade can continue to rotate and hold B.
And this is where you would expect Optic to be at their best, when they do have control, but it was something that in that oddball game against Nemesis earlier on today, they had that control, they had that setup. Alas, Nemesis were able to break it, which was even more impressive, because breaking an Optic setup is not an easy thing to achieve. And I think that's what SWAT Latam are going to experience right about now. They need to have a plan in action, either do a 3-1 split or a full 4 send, and they do get the opening onto Formal.
How deep is the playbook for Latam? And will it even matter with how much firepower is in the team? As I say that, Bounds picked up a double kill. He's died over towards Tower though. Renegade's in hot pursuit. Rorzch trying to desperately stay alive. Renegade will not let him do it so though. And back to B he goes with the help of the Quantum Translocator. Noble over towards Mud. He's being spotted out as well. Renegade knows exactly where he's going and will train his crosshairs appropriately. 2 members to contend with, backs away, clever from Renegade.
Yeah, shame really that there was so many eyes on him. Otherwise he might have been able to escape into mode and keep that sniper rifle on the side of Optic, but all the rest of the team have been able to do the job, and it means that Formal gets to go with the headshot machine.
Camo's about to pop. Legend's over there. Formal will provide some cover fire. Rorzch, the last man standing for his team, and he is trying to evade the attentions. He has been hunted down. It's going to be a 2v1 over towards A. Rorzch probably just needs to try and stay alive as long as he can to help his teammates pop back up again. Formal will get the kill. 2 members top middle position for SWAT Latam. Camouflage still for Formal to play with, and a couple of bullets, a sniper to play. It's all to do here for SWAT Latam. It's easy street right now for Formal.
I think too much to do for SWAT Latam now. You can't allow Optic to have a lead like this. It was looking promising in the early stages when you had a 50-point lead, but once Optic get in this groove, not many teams can come back from it. And especially a squad that is still going to be trying to get those pieces together from open bracket as well. Try as they might though, they haven't been able to get A, but of course you're going to get the quick conversion over towards C. Optic responding very well, but now the battle at B is going to be even more important, but doesn't matter because Legend's happy to challenge. 3 dead yet again for SWAT Latam. Make it 4, and I think this game may be dead and buried already.
One more chance to throw the dice. Strikeyy top tower gets
Nice
Legend
nade.
down to no shields. Beautiful nade. Banking it off the top of the steps. Formal though still has that snipe, but will fall. But a triple cap is locked in, and it's locked in tight. And a Latam about to tap out here. Points continue to climb. 3 dead for Latam. And for Optic Gaming, they recover from the Nemesis blunder. Map 1 in the books.
250 to 67. Bear in mind, SWAT Latam took a 50-point lead right at the start of that game, so it might have been slow out of the blocks for Optic Gaming, but they demonstrate why that does not matter. They are a team that can definitely respond and get back into things regardless of how they start, and I think they needed it. They needed to focus up a little bit, get back on that saddle as we were alluding to, and maybe now they can begin their run, not just through these pool play matches, but start to think about what could be awaiting them in the championship bracket as well. Early days though, only the first map of the series, but SWAT Latam, I think they just got a piece of the green wall.
It's always good as well to talk about Legend and Bound and the lure of Optic Gaming and Formal forging this championship contender roster. And I think as good as Optic Gaming are, as good as the green wall are, if you don't perform, if you're underperforming, they can get on your back very quickly. And that's something that Legend and Bound and Renegade to a certain extent will find out very quickly if things don't go their way, if they don't start building championships with them.
And of course that's no disrespect to the green wall. I think that's any major fan base. You are always going to want to see success for your team, so you are naturally going to be looking at why that might be going wrong. But Legend responding to maybe some performances that he wasn't happy with yesterday, with 17 kills on the board here in Game 1 on Saturday here in HCS Arlington. And this is going to be a case where moving into Game 2 for Slayer Aquarius, I think the fact that Optic have now been able to calm themselves down a little bit, it's going to be them focusing on just trying to breeze through this one. You want a nice, easy 3-0. Otherwise, then again, you're still going to see people scratching their heads a little bit, saying, you know, where's that Optic Gaming that was going toe-to-toe with Shopify Rebellion back at the Invitational? Where is that second seed that we expect them to be at?
You know, the communication would have been after the Nemesis series, okay, reset, 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 because there was a little part of me when the electricity went last night, Nemesis were 2 to the good, you thought this is the perfect time for an Optic Gaming reverse sweep. They go back to the hotel, they do some VOD review, they figure out what Nemesis were doing and they start to counter it. But actually they couldn't figure it out. Nemesis remained on top. But now that reset has seemed to come to fruition. Game 1 was pretty easy, and Slayer Aquarius looks like it could be the same if they continue to gun the way they were.
And there's always, you know, the conversation of looking at the series layout. Was it a bad one for Optic Gaming? Yes. Was it a good one for Nemesis? Yes, but at the same time, you could change that 1 to 5, 10 different times, and you can only play what's in front of you at the end of the day. And Optic are just going to have to work with that as they move forward in this tournament. And as they move forward in the series, you mentioned it, Slayer Aquarius is where we go. I love watching Optic on Aquarius. You look at all 4 of these players on the team, and they're all the kind of players that are just going to drift around these corners, challenge you, take those fights, and also punish you if you're out of position.
For Optic, really, you have to say, they are the quintessential Slayer team, the perfect team to have in a Slayer. So aggressive, so in your face. You've got Renegade, who made a name for himself, sliding, pushing, ruthless aggression. And you've got Bound and Lqgend, who've done the exact same thing on Space Station. Formula has got a real Slayer team here.
Well, I mean, a lot of people say that championships are won through these Slayer game types, and if you look back even at the Invitational that happened those weeks ago, Optic were able to get a lot of Slayers under their belt against Shopify Rebellion, and I think that is why they are the Slayer team that you were talking about, because they are just so good together. They find that damage, but they pick up the damage when it's been done as well, and now you've just got to ensure that you do it on the main stage here against SWAT Latam.
And for SWAT Latam, how do they bounce back? Because you don't want to end out in pool 0-3. You want to start putting some people on notice, putting some people on blast, performing well. Although you might not do too well here, something to build upon. Maybe you do something better at DreamHack. These reps are so valuable to teams like SWAT Latam.
I mean, seeing their player cam, seeing them on the main stage, they seem all smiles, they seem pretty happy, maybe just enjoying the occasion of being on the main stage. You heard what Wes had to say towards Piggy, making him bacon. They didn't even get that chance on the main stage. Not everyone does, so enjoy the moment, try and have fun, and also see if you can pull off maybe a map victory or 2, as Noble will take down Lqgend to kick things off here.
Bound's got camo, Formal's got a kill. Patrolling the front base, getting information for his team. Doesn't have to push in just yet. A little poke of damage, trying to initiate a gunfight. Renegade goes up the stairs, Noble sitting back base. Bound's alone for now, needs help from his teammates, and it comes Renegade. They put 2 in the grave, make it 4, all 4 go down. Rorzch will spawn over towards P1. And he has to try and stay alive as long as he possibly can. Very
simple thing there from Bound. He had camouflage, and a lot of players would have just walked on into the base and tried to stay hidden. But Bound says, you know, I've got my utility, I've got my grenades. Happy to give up his position just because the grenade does more than just him walking in. They allow the team to clean up the kill. 12-3 now, and the Optic train is really starting to roll here on Aquarius.
Killing spree for Renegade. Bound yet to die as well. Both 5-0 and 3-0 respectively. Formal picks up another one, and this is what you don't want for Latam. Don't let this game spiral out of control. Try and stay close in the early engagements, because we've seen Optic Gaming come back from huge deficits in this layer. If you give them a massive lead, you don't have much of a chance.
I just think 1v1 situations here, Optic versus Latam. You're putting your money on Optic Gaming every single time. These are world champions on your screen. The best of the best, built for this tournament, for this season. And sadly, when you're a team coming through from the open bracket and you play against a team that's going to be a little bit pissed off with what happened yesterday and in the early hours, and it's a killing frenzy for Renegade as it's 22-7. Optic Gaming really wanting to make a statement in this series.
As you said that, I just thought to myself, is this the worst possible time to play against Optic Gaming if you're an open bracket team? Renegade finally gets taken down, with his tally being 10-1-1. He was on for a perfection for a moment. Camouflage now in the chest of Bound after Renegade just fumbled with it. Double kill locked in. And it just appears as though SWAT Latam are just turtling up to trying to survive, but you just can't play that way against Optic Gaming.
I mean, this is just matchmaking now for Optic Gaming. They are just looking for the kills. They have the structure already in place. They have the map control, and it's just a matter of calling out the spawns and then push, push, push. Relentless, ruthless aggression.
4 dead again. Triple kill for Lqgend. The French phenom starting to find his feet now.
We're going to call him the French freak. I mean, you could.
That could work too.
Does work. Some of the things that he has been able to do, I questioned whether he was even human. (32-14), so a couple of kills going back in favor of SWAT Latam, but again, a deficit like this, it would be quite the struggle if Optic Gaming were to throw this one away. Actually, it would be the biggest throw of all time. But the green wall in the venue starting to get loud. And it's good that Optic are at least giving them something to shout about, because it was certainly a tough morning for them.
It was an early morning wake-up call. Go play some Halo. And unfortunately, they didn't get the win. All still to do. And like I say, if they can take down Rebellion, Dan, that loss to Nemesis means nothing. It's irrelevant. You're back in the... You've actually stolen first seed in the tournament, so it's happy days.
That's also assuming that Rebellion also win, although their games in the open bracket, etc. I mean, I think it's looking that way at the moment, but I'm not 100% sure on what the results are that have come through. And that's assuming that Optic continue to win this series, but how things are going, it's looking like it's trending that way. 37-22. Again, SWAT Latam are just pinned back into the base, and Renegade is just waiting to pounce.
I feel like I'm watching the same play happen over and over again. They get camouflage and they all collapse on a base. They turn around and they do it again. And Latam just do not have an answer for it. Noble's back base. Renegade's gonna hop back up there to help Formal, and in the end, he doesn't even need it.
I mean, that's what's important, is when that last player is remaining, you hunt him down, you kill him just that little bit later, and you split those spawns. You split those spawns, and you just keep them staggered, and you keep punishing them every single time you have that player advantage.
You just keep splitting them prawns. Renegade over towards the steps. And I think that's a very important point you make as well, because of course, if you delay that last final kill, you're always guaranteed a numbers advantage. It's 4v3 for the 3 fresh players to pop up, so always hard work to put these boys away. 3 kills remaining, make it 2 now. And Optic Gaming are in complete cruise control with 1 more kill to go. A killing spree for Renegade. And it could be Rorzch, the next one to hit the grave. Yes, it is. 5 fresh shots. 2 to the good now for Optic Gaming, and 1 away from righting some wrongs.
The crowd was calling for a steak, and it was delivered on a plate. Doesn't matter if you like it blue, medium rare, or well done. It was perfectly executed by the Optic Gaming roster. They had that one on the grill for quite some time, ready to serve. And now, on the side of SWAT Latam, that's going to be a difficult pill to swallow. It was a domination in the game 2 on Aquarius Slayer there. And Optic Gaming looking too strong, it would seem, for the open bracket side.
Just to be clear when we're talking about steaks,
yes.
Blue means barely cooked, correct?
Yeah, just sear it on all the edges, make sure, and then you just deliver it pretty much raw in the middle.
So essentially, just eating it fresh, cut off the animal, because it's getting very little love.
Yeah, you just make sure you get rid of all the E. coli on the edges and everything like that, safe to eat. Yeah, it's not too bad.
It's good health,
yeah.
Good health and safety from you.
Yeah.
You've definitely done a course or 2.
I did.
I know. Series layout then 250-67. Strongholds live fire. Slayer did not go the way of SWAT Latam either. 50-26. It's been utter domination for the green wall. An oddball recharge on the horizon. It's not looking much better. It's one of their best map mode combinations. And looking at the stats, Renegade 18, 3, and 6. He's really starting to find his form.
I know I've probably said this, but I think that's what's exciting about this Optic team, is that every single player can have a game like that. I mean, Formal, not too many kills, but you don't need to when Renegade has a game like that. But Lqgend also did it the game before. Bound could be the one who does it next time. And these kind of teams can be championship-winning rosters, because often these games can come down to fine margins where one player just has to step up, have that moment where they get that double or get that triple. A killing frenzy, for example, for Renegade. By the way, he gave up a killing frenzy just trying to get the camouflage, which shows that he was still thinking about the bigger picture. Because if that was me, I'd be like, I ain't going top mid. I will carry on just trying to pick up some kills.
Just gonna keep hitting the closets.
Just keep going.
Hope some players are no shields. Gonna get myself a little perfection.
Looking for my running riot.
I think it's right you say that, because it's important to know. Sometimes you see one player being an outlier on the stat sheet. He's got 18 kills in one of the games. There's just not enough kills on the map for every player to pop off. Sometimes it's just not your turn.
Well, I mean, something that's been mentioned a few times already in this tournament is, for example, TSM with the life after last shot, right? Not having that extra kind of firepower, that one person who could just suddenly pop off. Optic have 4 of those players, and I'm not saying TSM don't. I just don't think TSM have quite found their footing yet in this tournament, but they did qualify for the championship bracket, so they will have an opportunity to right some of those wrongs. Now, Oddball Recharge is going to be the next, and yeah, bad news for SWAT Latam. This is pretty much Optic Gaming's bread and butter. Slow setup, but also can push the pace when you need to. You can watch those spawns, you can punish people who are going to be on their own. I would not be surprised if this is a 2-0 and ends the series at a 3-0. And we still have to give credit to SWAT Latam for getting to this point. Getting through that grueling open bracket is never easy, and especially taking down a lot of those North American teams that you were talking about, Shurs. But when you get into this pool and you have to play an Optic Gaming, who, as I said, are just a little bit annoyed with what's happened so far.
I think something Optic Gaming do on this map, they don't have a preferred method, a preferred setup in this. They can hold it pipes, they can hold it elevator, they can hold it blue. They don't care where they hold it because they have optimal setups for each one of them. And for SWAT Latam, I just don't think they're going to have enough in the books to be able to break these setups.
Yeah, and even if you do break the setup, it's how do you set up yourself, because Optic does have that deep playbook. Optic can break those setups time and time again, and they are going to punish you every single time you try and take that ball away from them. And then you've also got to think about the shock rifle and how that is going to impact things out here as well. Optic Gaming are going to terrorize SWAT Latam here in this match.
Power weapons always so important. You've got 4 gunnies on Optic Gaming, and any one of them can pick it up at any given time and put on a show. The camouflage there to be contended for right off the rip. Noble's got the opening pick. Legend's gonna fall. Renegade's gonna whiff for the first melee.
What's your FOV?
Eventually gets it done. Probably sitting on 110, I would say.
I mean, I don't think so. If you don't see Renegade right there, I'm thinking it's like a 970. 42. Does not spot Renegade. He's able to get the kill in the end, and it's going to be that first camouflage going in favor of Optic Gaming. Even worse news for SWAT Latam here, but will give his position away, but will grab a shock rifle. Oh.
What's his FOV? Didn't check his feet. Sometimes you have to watch where you're walking. Formal will find a face with that camouflage. This is just things you can't plan for. You can have all the strategies in the world and all the setups, but if Formal gets a shock rifle on the camouflage, all those plans can go by the wayside.
No ball time as of yet, though. The ball is actually going to reset. Just a little bit of a standoff as almost connected with it. Just does enough damage so that it can be picked up, but it will be all 4 dead for Optic Gaming. And actually, SWAT Latam will be the first team to get a setup here, and it looks like it's going to have to be pipes. Although they do have A control, so they can probably rotate this round to elevator if they would like. They're going to force a blue push from Optic.
Can I tell you that one of the most terrifying things to play in Halo is when you're faced with a sniper rifle or a shock rifle and they stand still. Because you hold your breath, you're like, he's about to blame me. And more often than not, with the shock rifle, you find out pretty quickly. Unfortunately, though, Formal didn't find the face and he got taken down. But 23 seconds on the board for Latam. The ball's going to get tossed out over towards battery, so it's going to be reset. Bound's going to drop down, scoop it up, and 3 dead. Strikeyy last man standing down over towards Long Haul. He has to wait for his teammates to spawn back up.
Well, 2 dead on the side of SWAT Latam. Optic Gaming have the ball. A good chance to jump into the communications of Optic Gaming and seeing how they're feeling.
Nothing long. Oh yeah, better done it. One tower somewhere. Just sitting in front. The other guy's tower. Did you make it? Just time. It's gonna shot. Half a week, going 5 tower, Strikeyy weak. I throw the guys. Another Strikeyy. Very weak. One shot bang also. One shot mango door also. One shot either. One shot mango. Spawning C. Already trippy bomb. Trippy and long. You just sitting there, I think. Watch him long. One glass. Glass, Rorzch, weak. One top tower, weak, Strikeyy.
Depends you guys, they're gonna push you.
Top tower.
Battery.
Enemy has the ball.
Shock is up, they might be on that.
Yeah, one day
Backseat.
Go back. 2 a day. Trying to rotate. Go one tower back, come on. Nice. More top tower, one's back silo. Top tower, arms down, one back silo.
Bottom bear, watch out, bottom bear. Watch out bottom bear.
Enemy has
easy.
Wait, blue pipe.
One shot one.
Bound, go help John. Bound, go help John.
Okay, hey.
To be rats.
I'll get top A.
Make sure they don't get past you.
I'll get top A. I don't have to cross. Watch yourself. Top A weak. Watch yourself, guys. Think about it. Yeah. Watch your blue pipes. Okay, long gun. Why long against going C+? Long going Let's go with C+.
You just holding me?
Spawning pipe. Let's fun turbine. Maybe turret. Maybe
C-Bot, spike, kill me. He has shock long, Noble going.
32 boots on a
Sitting big door shot.
Bottom here in boot tunnel. He's hitting wrist of
one day.
Bottom A, one shot. Strikeyy behind you. Bottom A, one shot.
There's a grab up.
Bottom elevator, one shot. 3 back elevator, one.
We go.
Kill help. Nice. Behind you, top A still. Behind you, top A right now.
Top one shot.
Heaven, going top A. Top cat.
Let's
Bottom A, East turbine. Turbine on the box, going for ball.
Watch out,
No one A. Covered one.
Two it.
Going long. Stop still. We're in day.
I'm
Long one, we're long.
gonna go. I'm gonna look for the.
Last class.
It's right this one.
Last one. We can long. Watch out.
Border's also weak. More border, guys. Weak. Valid.
A very focused Optic Gaming, actually. I think historically, a game like this and a team like this, the comms may not be like that. It might have been a little bit more chill, a little bit more expectation of winning this comfortably, but Optic extremely focused, and they know they cannot take this SWAT Latam team lightly. They're a very strong roster who have to be respected, and it's exactly what Optic is showing here.
Yeah, those comms are locked. You're hearing a lot of small talk. Not looking past this SWAT Latam team, and for good reason. This round number 1 has been close. Optic Gaming now just started to pull away. 10 seconds required. 3 members down for SWAT Latam. This should be a round 1 victory for Optic Gaming as Lqgend continues to hold and secures the round for his team.
A bit back and forth to begin with, but once they got a solid setup, Optic Gaming were just able to hold on to it, but it was great to have an extended listen in there so we could really see how Optic were kind of feeling.
Incoming.
I think focus would be the key word that I take away from that listening. Lqgend now just supporting Bound, and I mean, Lqgend and Bound running at you is another terrifying thing to have to try and go up against in Halo, as now Pelu is going to be the last remaining player, as again, first camouflage goes to Optic Gaming. And that is going to be a key feature in this game as well. If SWAT Latam allow that camouflage to keep going in favor of the green wall, then they are not going to be able to get around.
Optic Gaming have really been on top of the power-ups. Almost every camouflage has gone their way this game. That time just desperately trying to survive, but Formula keeps hitting 5s. 3 dead now. Noble's over towards gold. Grapple would mean the ball can come with him. Camouflage will just run out, but now they have an A set up. Renegade's got the shock rifle as well over towards blue. This is going to be a very difficult break for SWAT Latam. Renegade has to live here. He's done so for now.
Of course, you talk about those 5s. With the summer update, we'll get the perfect medal that's going to be on the kill feed as well. And I do wonder whether that changes things and changes the dynamic of the game when you see someone perfect in the kill feed, and you know they're hot. Is very different to just seeing them get those kills as well. So it does change things ever so slightly. And I'm excited for that introduction when the summer update does come through. But Optic have the ball over towards pipes, and they've got 2 dead. It's going to be a 3 versus 2 in this. And actually, there's a spawn over towards elevator, so they could get aggressive here and try and take elevator off them. But I think with that damage, they're going to have to back off.
Back away they do. 3 members of Optic Gaming over towards pipes. Beautiful nades getting tossed out here though. Players down to no shields, and Bound picks up 2. 3 go down now. Renegade gets one elsewhere. Last player over towards tower. A beautiful hold from the green wall.
If we go down together. Bound and Formal just holding hands and saying, look, we'll fight to the very end, and they both come out of it alive. So difficult to try and take those fights when both players are just trained on doing damage, happy to die for the cause of their teammate. Now, Noble does have camouflage, so this is better. At least they've been able to prioritize it, and maybe it can help them get back into this round. Oh, you walk into a wiggly formal, you never really know how it's going to happen. Noble's the last remaining player here. Ball time still going in favor of Optic.
They've hit the halfway point now. A point required
Enemy halfway
for
to
Noble.
victory.
Just waiting patiently for plays to be made elsewhere. Unfortunately, that camouflage didn't see the value he would have liked.
Ball dropped.
This ball
Enemy has
being
the
well
ball.
protected by the Frenchman. Like a little baby being cradled. He's bringing it over towards long haul. Got help from Bound, but two members of SWAT Latam combine. Lqgend will drop the ball, shock rifle in hand, hits the face, even when he didn't need to. A little extra sauce on it. Ball has been dropped over towards double stack, and Pelu get a kill onto Formal. You see Lqgend desperately trying to get some information and put some damage down on the map. Great nade from Strikeyy, but just not enough to get the kill. Double kill for Lqgend, he continues to roll. And 82 points in climbing here for Optic Gaming. This has been smooth sailing.
And he's just walking into one shot after one shot. Such good communication from Optic right now, and the damage they're doing just allows Lqgend to clean up.
The final moments then, perhaps the final innings of SWAT Latam's tournament, as Renegade gets the final second required, and the green wall march on. We say goodbye to SWAT Latam, and Optic Gaming are going to go 2-1 in the pools.
So Optic Gaming will at least walk away with a better seed than third, so they're not going to have to worry about being third in their pool. They will finish second just after Nemesis, so it'll be a flip of the seeds. Nemesis are now going to be the second seed going into the championship bracket, whereas we're going to see Optic Gaming being a 7th seed, which, of course, leads us to a possibility of Shopify Rebellion versus Optic Gaming in winners bracket round 1. The two teams who are in the finals of the Invitational, the two teams who were spoken about being in the finals of this tournament, are going to have to go up against each other in the first opportunity of championship bracket.
Don't get me wrong, we were expecting an Optic Gaming versus Shopify Rebellion at some point this weekend. We were not expected to come quite this soon, if that is how it all shakes out. But it was a clean sweep for the green wall. Those four players, they found their feet, and the green wall has found their voice, applauding the hometown heroes.
I think that's how that game had to go. That series had to go that way for Optic Gaming, otherwise there would have been a lot of raised eyebrows around this arena, and maybe even on opposition teams. They had to just show everyone that maybe it was just a blip against Nemesis, and they're going to be back in form, because otherwise, if it's going to happen, Shopify Rebellion would have been rubbing their hands together saying, actually, yeah, sure, if Optic are struggling against a team that's just come out of open bracket, they'll be right before the picking. But no, Optic show their dominance, Optic show themselves at their very best, or at least close to their very best. I still think there is more to come from them just yet. But it is a 3-0 against SWAT Latam, and sadly will be the end of SWAT's tournament, but a great open bracket run to give them a chance to play on the main stage.
You very loosely made a point there that I almost didn't even think about, was with Nemesis taking down Optic in that pool play match, do you think the other top teams, the likes of Rebellion, SSG, FaZe, do they look at Optic now thinking maybe they're not as strong as maybe we thought they were?
I think so, but I think that there's always been that question mark of this roster. I mean, it's happened many a time on this stage in particular as well, against a European team. I think maybe there's just a little bit of a worry. I think there's always going to be those early first tournament nerves for Optic Gaming, and I think it might just be a hurdle on the way to things, because Optic Gaming are definitely going to be a team who could move forward and could still win this entire tournament.
A lot of work still to do for Optic Gaming, but they've beaten the team that was in front of them. There's still a lot of work to do. Maybe, like we say, that big matchup against Shopify Rebellion. This Halo just gives us something all the time, Dan. Unexpected results. You're seeing teams make it out of open that maybe you weren't expecting as well. Blaze, though, he's got some words to speak with Renegade, and I can't wait to hear them. Take it away.